Hey guys, Caroline, career and leadership coach here. And I wanted to share some insights that I got from a client yesterday. And I was talking to her, and she was describing her relationship with the previous company as almost having a bad dad relationship. And I said, like, what do you mean? And she said, like, it is like you're in a relationship and you have somebody there that is doing a little bit of really giving you support or a little bit of change, and immediately you have this hope that everything will have changed. And so no matter how bad they are, each time you are back, like sucked in into the game, and you think that things have changed, but actually nothing has changed. So she was working previously in a toxic environment, and the insights that she shared, I thought like would be interesting for me to share with you guys. And I asked her permission, and she was describing that it affected her self-confidence beyond almost repair. Because she stayed so long in a certain situation, and slowly but surely it starts slipping away because she started to lose belief in her own capabilities. Now, this is huge because we all make sacrifices for a job, and we make sacrifices in life and in our career. And that is okay. But when those sacrifices are being rewarded with you losing your confidence, then you need to start questioning the choices you are making, because nothing is worth like you losing your self-confidence, because that will bite you again in the ass, like very, very bad. So there are a couple of strategies that I wanted to share with you on how to leverage or change that and manage that situation. Because sometimes you're in a situation and you just can't just resign or walk away from it. You are stuck and you have to endure it until you have a solution. And instead of it letting attack your self-confidence, and that way you just go deeper and deeper in it, there are ways you can actually manage that situation. So the first thing to do is to detach yourself. And I know that is very easy said, and it's very difficult sometimes to do. But think about it this way. They are really using your energy. And so as long as you try to keep on fighting a fight that you know you're not going to win, you're investing your precious energy in something that you shouldn't. You should redirect it, and we will talk about that in a second. But you should actually think about, okay, what else can I do with that energy instead of trying to change something that you know is going to be a lost cause. If you know that your boss doesn't respect you, then stop trying to earn his respect. If you know your colleagues are backstabbing bitches, then let it go. Don't try to teach them integrity and morals. Like, step away from a situation. If the company is not what you actually value in your career, then stop trying to change that. Stop trying to change the processes and the policies and the procedures of something you can't change. So detaching yourself doesn't mean that you have to deliver poor work or anything like that. So there is a difference in accepting like the things that you can't change, but still have joy in the delivery of the results of the project and the results of your work, because your work makes an impact, however small or big that is. Focus on that and detach yourself from from all the rest. Now, a second thing I would say is have an action plan, like to move forward. So you can detach yourself from whatever situation you have that you know is not your future. And a mantra that I like to give my clients, and I give like people, my friends and my families, if they are in a situation that they want to change, but it just takes time. Change takes time. Is like to constantly think to yourself, this is not my future anymore. This is not my future. This is not my future. And you keep repeating that to yourself to calm yourself down, because sometimes you can get so worked up. And definitely, if you are in a situation where you feel you are treated unfair, it's very difficult to actually, because you want to defend yourself, you want to be like rectified, like, yes, but they're not listening. So that's why you have to have a way to calm yourself down and to be able to get in yourself and detach yourself. Then I want you to do is to focus on the next steps. So whatever the next steps are for you, for a lot of you, this will mean that you need to go and find a new job. Now, instead of looking at it as a big mountain that you have to climb and you don't know how to climb it, look at ways to walk around it. Simplify it. Make sure you understand, okay, what's the first thing I need to do? Okay, the first thing I need to do is actually update my resume. And when I say update your resume, this is not updating the piece of paper that we call resume. It's about reflecting back on your career and really reconnect with yourself and the achievements that you've done. Because here's the thing, when you're in a situation where you work in a toxic work environment for longer than you actually hoped for, and your confidence starts slipping away, you stop actually seeing the achievements that you have done, and you start self-doubting yourself. You start doubting your capability and that you really can do the things that you thought you were good at, because you don't have the respect, because you don't have the opportunity, because your colleagues are not being transparent or collaborative with the information they have, and so you can't do your job. And all of that affects your own belief, your self-belief, that you can actually do the things that you need to do. So before you get your resume up and running or update your resume on your LinkedIn profile, just reflect for a second and think about all the things that you have done, and find that moment that you can be proud of who you are. Because that is so important in moving forward, in taking that next step, because you don't want to carry that baggage, that really bad baggage of a bad job with you everywhere you go, because people will really pick up on it in an interview and when you start working on it somewhere new, like people pick up on it. So you are responsible to clear your own baggage, to get rid of it, to actually make sure that is not a problem. So once you have done that, then you can think about the next steps that you have to do. Okay, you have to create like your elevator page, and you have to create your resume and so on and so on. So that's the second step. Think about the steps forward. So first of all, I want you to think about, okay, this is not my future anymore. And now I want you to think about, okay, the steps forward. What do I have to put in place to actually get myself out of this situation? Because if you're not doing anything, you're not going anywhere. And that, again, is your responsibilities. It's like a lot of people, including myself, I like to complain about things to my husband and my friends, but there is a place for whinging and complaining, but there is a place for taking action and to take small steps forward to make that difference. So I want you to do that. And as a third thing that I want you to do is find a way to protect your energy. And I slightly touched on it before, is because if you have bring an energy into an interview, into meeting a networking event, meeting new people, into a new job, and you bring that bad energy with you, your career is going to just go from one hurdle, one stumbling block, one struggle to another. So you have to protect your energy now. And the ways you can protect your energy is, first of all, is like we already discussed, is detaching yourself, but it might already be affected that you have a negative mindset. So think about the things like how you can get a positive mindset. Is like some people like to do sports like F45, really high intensity HIIT exercises. Other people find this then into yoga. Other people like Pilates. Some people meditate, go for walks in nature and absorb positive energy from that. And I want you to take it a step further, because that is energy, yes, that you have to protect, and that's your outside energy. But if you look at your energy at work, you need to change your perception of it, because otherwise you're going to go with judgment into a new opportunity, a judgment about a reaction that colleague had, and that you're actually going to carry away. That if somebody reacts the same way, even with a total different intention, you might respond the same way. Or if you have a boss that was a micromanager, and you go into a new job, and your boss suddenly asks you for a report to actually, or run through some numbers, you might get defensive immediately because it reminds you exactly of that situation. So you have to break out that habit. Otherwise, you're going to repeat the same pattern again, and it's a vicious circle. I can promise you that. So you have to think about ways to break out of that and to actually look at what you can do different and how you can process that. And that is almost like healing yourself in a certain way. So what I find really a good exercise to do with my clients, and even for myself, is writing down everything and try to look at it objectively and think about, okay, is that really, was that attached to that person, or was that the activity? And try to go through that process. And it might look very simple, that process, but don't underestimate the power of it, because it's like the example that I gave before. If you go into a meeting where you have a micromanager of a boss again, or you assume he's going to be a micromanager because he asked for a report, you don't want to respond defensive, because that is going to affect the rest of your career progression in that company and in the next companies. And it's that attitude that's not going to serve you to actually go to the next level. So the best way I find to do that is to actually write things out and to actually think like, okay, what was that? Was that linked to the situation, to the person? Where would that person come from? And a really good way of dealing with all of that is when you're really in a bad situation and you just like want to move out as soon as possible, is shift your mindset, shift your frame that you're looking at it. So instead of like looking at it personal and thinking how you can influence it, look at it as a social experiment. And write down the social experiments that you're doing on how people respond. So it will help you to be an observer, to detach yourself and to look at it as an experiment. So I hope this resonated with you, and that you actually found this invaluable in terms of what you actually got out of it. If it resonated with you, give me thumbs up, because the more thumbs up I get and the more engagement I receive, the more LinkedIn will actually give organic reach to the live stream, and the more people I can reach with my message, and the more people I can help transform their career. And so my specialization is helping professionals like yourself all over the world. So my clients are based like in Australia, of course, in New Zealand, in Singapore, in Asia, in Europe, in the UK, in the US, doesn't matter, in Canada. So what I do is help them go basically from stuck to landing their next six-figure leadership role. And it's not any type of role. Like the clients I work with, they're looking for a role that is fulfilling, challenging, and where they get paid what they're worth. So if that is something that that you look to aspire to achieve, connect with me. It's all about expanding my network and trying to help you. And a couple of things, if you're really keen to go to the next level, there are a couple of things you can do. I have a free masterclass that's called the 5 Simple Steps to Get More Interviews, to stand out and to land your next leadership role. And that you can go to newhorizoncoaching.com.au, how to get a leadership role, and you will be able to register for that masterclass. It's value packed. It's a little bit longer than 35 minutes. And to be honest, it's going to be the best 35 minutes that you have spent on your career, understanding how a career really works, because my approach to a career is holistic. It's like looking at all the incoming pieces and all the bits and bobs and really connecting them so that they're very easily to follow for you. And secondly, if you say like, Caroline, I've been following you long enough and your message and what you say is really resonating with me, I would say like book a call with me. So New Horizon Coaching .com.au/call. And on the call, it's not going to be your typical sales call. So don't be afraid of that. If that's what's holding you back, I can guarantee you that's not what it's going to be. What it is going to be, it's me really having a chat with you, getting an understanding of where you are in your career, what you try to achieve, and what the roadblocks are along the way. Then we zoom out and we identify where you want to be. We build a little strategy together, a roadmap on how you can get there. And if you want my help at the end of the call to implement that roadmap, I will explain that to you too, what that possibly would look like. So, but if you just want to go away and implement that strategy all by yourself, we're good friends anyway. So I hope this resonated with you. Again, like I said, give me a thumbs up or share this video with anybody that you know should hear this message. And if there is anything that you want me to talk about, like leave a message in the comments so I know, okay, what are the topics that people are interested in? Because I'm sharing information that I get from certain people, but if my LinkedIn community would like to hear more about certain aspects, let me know what you're craving to hear about, and I can do a live about that. I hope this helped, and I will see you in the next video.